Hey there guys, what's going on? So, yes, it is I am back here in my YouTube office space, little studio setting, whatever you want to call it. Back from my hiatus that I talked about in my last video. If you do not know what I'm talking about and are completely clueless right now, go check that out and see what I was mentioning at that time. But either way, here I am. I am back a little bit later than I had originally intended to be back. But I wanted to make sure that I was, kind of getting my mind right and my focus in the right place to come back here and start delivering videos. A lot of great new videos, so much stuff to talk about that I wanted to be in the right place for it and to really get started in the right place. So here we are doing just that, and I thought, with so many things to talk about, where should we begin? And of course, obviously, the most logical thing that came to mind from my very logical perspective was a weekend preview video. So without any further ado and repeating, kind of hinting at it, let's get into it right here. First of all, I want to get to a record that before I left to go on my little vacation to the Big Apple, the big city, New York City and Brooklyn and all of that, I wanted to originally talk about this record. I didn't get the chance to before I had to leave, unfortunately. But now that I'm back, we're gonna do it up in grand style, the whole thing, the unboxing, the extra songs, all the usual stuff that I do, as well as a review, of course, on Morrissey's "World Peace Is None of Your Business." Because while I was away, obviously, as you can see, the record arrived, the deluxe package record, and we're going to talk about some of the things that are included in there, obviously including this with the bonus tracks, this here on the wall, which we'll get into, something over there, bunch of things to talk about with that, and with any luck that review will be coming along by the end of this week, although it's getting to be a little bit tough right now because there's a lot of great records out there right now, and there's some stuff that's just really like holding my attention, stuff that I just keep listening to and listening to. So we're going to get to that when we get to that. But the unboxing and the bonus stuff, the stuff that I usually do, my bread and butter, it's going to be coming right out. Hopefully, maybe right after this, but we'll see how that goes. So keep it here for Morrissey and World Peace Is None of Your Business. And also, with my handy-dandy computer here to remind me of just what exactly it was I wanted to talk about here in this week in preview video. We are going to do something that covers on a little bit of my vacation, and I was unsure exactly of how I wanted to approach this. I'm still a little bit unsure if I want to do this in just a straight-up video form like I'm talking to you right now, or to do a written piece that you'll find over on my blog. But one way or another, I want to get to talking about Rough Trade Records, the record store that is in Williamsburg over in New York City, and is over in London, just a few locations. First time I ever got to step into one while I was away. It was a really, really special, really cool place. I had so much fun there, picked up some great music, some stuff that I really, 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 really want to get to talk about. So keep it here for definitely one or the other of those. We're definitely going to talk about Rough Trade. Such a fun place. It was just, I had such a good time with that. So we're going to talk about that more coming up this week. We're going to talk a little bit, and I'm not exactly sure how I want to bundle these in, because this is going to go along with the Rough Trade Williamsburg stuff, because these are the records that I bought while I was there. But I want to do sort of an unboxing on my recent acquisitions, which include these, oh, there we go, these two beauties, not this middle one, although might as well just show that to you because that's going to be in the video anyway. It includes these two beauties here, basically the 2014 release of the Hardworking Americans album, which is the supergroup that has Todd Snyder, Neil Casal, Butch Trucks, David Schools. There's all kinds of really interesting stuff with this. I'm going to be talking about this a lot more in this video, and some other things that are going to come up with it, so I'm not going to go too in detail, but this is really good. And Chris Christopherson with Please Don't Tell Me How the Story Ends, the publishing demos 1968 to 1972. Now this release is from 2010, but it is on one of my favorite little record label releases, Light in the Attic Records, who do some really eclectic stuff like the Rodriguez material, the Emerson brothers. Did a bunch of really interesting eclectic stuff, and this Christofferson thing is really cool. His beginning origins, beginning demo tapes, stuff with just him and the guitar, him and just a few guys in the studio making sketches of what their songs are going to be. So much interesting stuff with this album, so we'll definitely be getting to that very shortly. Includes a lot of great backstory, you know, about him being flying planes, flying helicopters, being at West Point, and going to being a musician, being the janitor at a record label, and ending up making songs there. All kinds of stuff. Very interesting there. And I will talk about, in addition to the Todd Snider mentioned earlier for Hardworking Americans, an older record from 2012 that I finally picked up that was here when I got home. So that will kind of be bundled into the whole presentation with Todd Snider's Agnostic Hymns and Stoner Fables. Since my great affection with Todd's music has begun in the last couple of weeks, I've scrambled to pick up a couple of his records that are out on vinyl. And excuse me while I sneeze. Oh, wait, not in the middle of this video. Okay, wait on that beautiful surprise. You're all going to just be subscribing right and left once you see that. Once I was into it, I really wanted to get the vinyl. And again, we're going to be talking about Todd Snider a lot coming up here. I've got some written stuff, but we're going to get to that in a minute. A lot of stuff on him, and I think we're going to throw an extra song just because I really like both of these, this Christofferson and this Hardworking Americans album so much. We're just going to throw some cool songs on my turntable onto the channel as well. So keep it here for those. Like I said, we got so much stuff to talk about. We've got this, which is from a little bit before I left, which includes a bunch of great record store purchases I made at Angry Mom Records in Ithaca, New York. My favorite place to go to pick up great records, great music. I love talking about them here in these videos whenever I can manage to. I actually just included them in a great written piece I just did, which I should definitely perhaps talk about here coming up. Maybe we'll do that too. There's so many things right now, guys. There's so many interesting things that I have to tell you about. The odds are I'm going to forget them or just do about half of them. We'll see how it works out. There is an update video that I want to do on an issue that I talked about here on YouTube not too long ago to do with YouTube, wherein they were in a fight, in sort of a conflict with the independent record labels, the smaller record labels on YouTube, blocking music videos, blocking all that stuff. And I read you part of an article from the AV Club website. We did a whole thing with that. Since I was away, there has been an update in that story, so I'm hoping to get to tackle that this week. A bunch of these smaller labels formed sort of a coalition and signed this thing and did all this stuff to sort of fight back with that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and update that story here coming up. So definitely keep an eye there, because I might have some more ranting about Google being the evilest corporation, disguising themselves as, oh, we're not evil at all, which is just a complete fallacy, but, you know, pay me anyway, Google. But after all of that nonsense, I have a bunch of things that I would like to hopefully get to in terms of some littler reviews. In terms of actually one other full review, I would like to, since it is streaming this week, I would like to talk about the Jenny Lewis Voyager record, which is, like I said, streaming early this week. And I talked a little bit about that with a bunch of the singles reviews that I did not too long ago, wherein I wanted to get to talk about that and get to cover that a little bit more, since Jenny is one of my favorite female artists, and maybe I'll do a full workup on that before the release, because I do like to do that and get the most bang for the buck in terms of views here on YouTube. We've got some more stuff with this Hardworking Americans album that I just showed you, that I'm really hoping we are going to be able to do a full review on it, because it is a 2014 release. I think even though it is a group of covers and it is a super group kind of a dynamic, it's a really good record, and it's a really important record to cover. So one way or another, that's going to get covered. I want to do some stuff about Blake Mills this week, He just released a couple of songs just earlier this afternoon for his new record coming out in September called Hey Ho, which I've heard some of the songs going back to when he was touring with Fiona Apple in 2012. So that's really cool. Great stuff from Spoon coming up, in addition to written pieces on More to Do with Todd Snyder, some stuff about Broadway, of all things. Well, again, while I was away on vacation, we've got some stuff about New York City. I would love to do a full kind of a retrospective piece on that. And speaking of retrospectives, I would like to do another great piece on the Lone Bellow, who I can never get enough of talking about because they are magic and a wholly religious experience in music all rolled up into one. We have, you know, maybe this, I'm seeing a couple of live shows this week. We've got Band of Horses, we've got Sarah Lee Guthrie and Johnny Irian to talk about. There's so much. There's archive pieces that I did on my old channel, some interview stuff that I did that I want to bring to my new writing blog, Wordpress Center, that you can read. Stuff I did with some indie artists, a solo artist named Jessica Allen, and a band named The Difference Engine out of St. Louis. Really unbelievable material, really pinnacle of the written side of stuff that I did before I was really writing properly. So I want everybody to be able to see that again, get that out of the woodwork. It's a long list this week. There is just so many things, but right now we're doing this week in preview thing, and then we're gonna jump to Morrissey. We're going to jump into Rough Trade. We're going to do some more vinyl stuff. We got some reviews coming up. And then I might just pass out from dehydration in the meantime. So keep it here for all that. Me possibly dying on screen, more than likely not. And we'll be doing just so much awesome music stuff that I'm just honestly hoping that I have it in me to just get what's in my brain out there so you guys can see it. So keep it here. So much great stuff still to come. And just stay tuned.